The UK government is proposing a pay-per-mile tax for EV owners, and the reason will definitely shock you. This isn't just about policy. I think it's a policy that will actually change the future of EV adoption in Britain and possibly push people back into petrol and diesel cars. So let me explain. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I've just finished digging through one of the most chaotic UK budgets we have in years. We have some good news, we have some bad news, and we have a key decision that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. And that's the proposed introduction of a new tax for EV owners, which is the pay per mile. So according to UK's own projection, the new policy being introduced will wipe out over 440,000 electric vehicles off UK roads by 2031. At the moment in UK in late 2025, we have about 1.7 million electric vehicles on UK roads. So when the new policy comes in effect in 2028, the policy will wipe out a quarter of the number we have in the UK at the moment, and that's staggering. The UK government is exploring pay per mile, which is specifically targeted at EV owners, and the explanation behind the proposal is not what most people think. So let's break it down. Why is the government suddenly doing this? How did we get here? What does it mean for an average EV owners? And what are the risks involved that no one is talking about? So the government is considering a system whereby EV owners can be charged based on how many miles they drive. This is not fuel duty. This is not the traditional VED. It's just literal price per mile. On the surface, it looks like EV owners are just being punished. But deeply, it's more worrying. So here is what is really happening. The fuel duty is collapsing. For many decades, the UK government relied so heavily on fuel duty and VAT generated from petrol and diesel, which brings in tens of billions of pounds every single year. But now we have more people switching to electric vehicles, we have more rapid chargers, we have more public chargers, which literally means less petrol being sold, less diesel being sold, less tax collected, and this is creating a huge financial hole for the government. So road maintenance, infrastructure, rail replacement that depended heavily on taxes generated from fuel and now under pressure. So from the government's point of view, EV transition is silently draining one of its biggest streams of income. And that's literally the push behind the EV pay per mile tax. So before I go into full rant mode, let me acknowledge the positives. The luxury car tax threshold has been moved from £40,000 to £50,000, which is a decent win. So what this means is if you're buying a vehicle, electric vehicle that is less than £50,000, instead of paying £425 a year for the luxury car tax, you pay £0. The government is planning to invest £200 million into public charging infrastructure, which is a good one. So far so good, then the wheels come off. So from April 2028, the government is introducing something called Electric Vehicle Excise Duty, which is still going to be paid alongside your normal VEDs. And yes, it's pay per mile. So if you're driving a full electric, you pay 3 pence per mile. And if you're driving a plug-in hybrid vehicles, you pay 1.5 pence per mile. When the rumor first leaked, I dismissed it because it sounded ridiculous. It's like a parody headline, but nope, it's happening. So, and this is where things really get interesting. The UK's own Office for Budget Responsibility admits that this new policy will push 500,000 EVs off UK roads and also slow down EV adoption. So they know the policy will discourage people from EV adoption, and yet they are going with this anyway. So in the eyes of the government, electric vehicles are cheaper to run. At the moment, electric vehicle owners pay zero fuel duty, lower running costs, lower servicing, almost zero VEDs. So the government argues that there's an imbalance between EV owners and petrol drivers. So their solution is replace the £0 paid by EV owners on fuel duty with another tax, which is the pay per mile tax, and keep the money flowing. Hence, the pay per mile. Let's quickly look at the numbers. Right now, petrol drivers pay around 8p per mile in fuel tax and VAT. So yes, 3p per mile for EVs is technically cheaper. The math says EVs still win. But this isn't just about mathematics, it's about the psychology. When people hear new EV tax, they don't compare cost per mile spreadsheets. Their reaction is simple. Why am I being punished for choosing an electric vehicle? And once an objection becomes emotional, facts cannot change it. People will just default to the simple option, stick with petrol. The OBR knows this, the government knows this, everybody else knows this. This whole system opens up a can of worms. How will mileage be verified? Are we going to need mileage checks every year? What if someone sells the car before the MOT? What about mileage done outside the UK? How do you prove the difference between UK miles and holiday miles? No one has answered this yet, and the uncertainty will definitely scare people off. We are still heading towards the world whereby petrol cars will be phased out, and 2035 seems to be the target year for UK to phase out both petrol cars and diesel cars. But this might be delayed, but at the moment it's still in the horizon. EV adoption currently faces constant myth and misconceptions. Electric vehicles cannot do long trips, the battery die after 8 years, they catch fire easily, they're expensive, and we fought this nonsense for several years. Electric vehicles will now come with additional tax, and this is the biggest self-inflicted blow I've seen to EV adoption in years. This is the part that almost no media is talking about. A pay-per-mile EV tax could potentially stop people from buying electric vehicles, and this whole idea defeats the essence of UK's climate goals. So let's break it down. If electric vehicles lose their financial advantage, people would just say, what's the point? I'd rather just stick with my petrol or diesel. So that means higher emissions, worse local air quality, slower transition to cleaner transportation, and communities will be exposed to more pollution. It's literally the opposite to what the government wants. We are already seeing hesitancy, and a new tax on top of this would stall EV adoption for many years. Manufacturers rely on strong electric vehicle demand to justify investing in the UK. A mixed reaction, which is go electric, but with tax for it, that will weaken confidence. While other countries are offering tax breaks, incentives, subsidies, clean transportation grants, if the UK goes the opposite direction, investment will shift elsewhere. Job will follow and innovation will slow. If electric vehicles stop growing, that automatically means the government will have to cut emissions somewhere else. That means heavier industry restrictions, stricter heating policies, and tougher household energy rules. All because of one key pillar, which is transportation stop progressing. So we are currently at a crossroad, and the option one is the government carefully redesign road taxation in a way that keeps electric vehicle attractive, doesn't punish EV adopters, and still funds infrastructure. Option two is they push ahead blindly, make electric vehicle ownership more expensive, and then risk slowing the entire green transition. Right now it's unclear which direction they will take, but one thing is certain. The way the UK chooses to tax electric vehicles will determine whether the country accelerates towards zero emission or hits the brake. I genuinely cannot believe how this policy made it through to cabinet, let alone official budget. It goes against literally everything the UK government has been saying about wanting a faster transition to cleaner vehicles. From a policy perspective, it's insane. From an EV owner perspective, it's infuriating. From a consumer psychology perspective, it's a disaster. Well, that's my view anyway. So let me know in the comment section, what's your view about the proposed pay-per-mile EV tax? Is this a short-term blunder or a long-term derailment towards EV transition in the UK? So drop your thoughts in the comment section and let's talk about it. I will also appreciate if you can like the video, if you can share the video, and most importantly, I will appreciate if you can subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.